In Aida, the thread titled Mauricio Piscinas functions as a study not only of character, but of the intricate interplay between order and chaos that defines human existence. From the very beginning, Mauricio is introduced not through dialogue, but through action. The opening shot finds him meticulously organizing equipment by the swimming pool, his movements precise, almost ritualistic. The camera lingers on each placement of a lane marker, each adjustment of water temperature, suggesting an obsessive attention to detail. This sequence is more than a simple depiction of routine. It becomes a visual metaphor for the central tension of Mauricio's life, the desire for control in a world inherently resistant to it. The film immediately positions the audience to perceive the protagonist through his habits, implying that character is revealed as much through actions as through words, if not more so. The sound design supports this idea, capturing the subtle splashes of water, the mechanical hum of pumps, and the faint echo of footsteps, creating an immersive soundscape that mirrors Mauricio's inner discipline. The narrative structure of the film is deliberately slow, allowing for a careful unraveling of character and motive. Mauricio's interaction with Aida are central to this unfolding, though the relationship itself is subtle and layered, rather than overtly romantic or dramatic. Their first encounter is set in a community center, where Aida volunteers, a space that contrasts sharply with the clinical precision of Mauricio's pools. The director uses light and shadow here with remarkable subtlety. Aida is bathed in soft, natural light, while Mauricio's face remains partially obscured, highlighting the contrast between his internal rigidity and her openness. The dialogue between them is minimal, often relying on gestures, fleeting expressions, and the pauses between words to communicate meaning. This approach emphasizes the film's commitment to showing rather than telling, inviting viewers to read between lines and observe the unspoken dynamics of their interaction. Every tilt of the head, every hesitation becomes a window into their psychology, revealing the careful negotiation of trust, respect, and curiosity that shapes their evolving connection. One of the film's remarkable achievements lies in its treatment of professional and personal life as intertwined, with each sphere reflecting and influencing the other. Mauricio's role as a manager of recreational facilities, particularly the swimming pools, is depicted not merely as an occupation, but as an extension of his psyche. Pools in the film symbolize both serenity and unpredictability, order and potential danger. There is a sequence where Mauricio oversees a late-night maintenance session, the water glimmering under dim lighting as he tests filtration systems and adjusts chemical levels. The camera holds long on his reflection in the water, merging his image with the fluid, unpredictable surface beneath. This visual motif recurs throughout the film, reinforcing the thematic exploration of control. The pools are under Mauricio's command, yet the water itself, by nature, cannot be completely contained or predicted. In this way, the film meditates on the limits of human authority and the tension between intention and circumstance. The interpersonal dynamics with supporting characters further illuminate Mauricio's complexities. There is a notable scene involving a junior employee, timid yet eager, who challenges Mauricio's methods subtly, questioning the rationale behind strict schedules and procedural norms. Their interaction begins with polite deference, but gradually escalates into a quiet tension, with Mauricio's responses reflecting both irritation and a begrudging recognition of the employee's insight. The scene is staged with remarkable precision. Camera angles emphasize spatial hierarchy, placing Mauricio slightly above in frame, while editing choices linger on micro-expressions, allowing subtle shifts in emotion to register without overt exposition. Here, the film demonstrates a keen understanding of human power dynamics, showing that leadership, respect, and ethical responsibility are negotiated constantly rather than assumed. These sequences deepen our comprehension of Mauricio as a man caught between ambition, moral conscience, and the pragmatic demands of his environment. A recurring motif in Aida is the contrast between light and darkness, not simply as visual tools, but as thematic markers of psychological and emotional states. One striking example occurs during a pivotal moment when Mauricio confronts a personal betrayal by someone he trusted implicitly. The confrontation takes place in a half-lit office, the blinds casting linear shadows across the room. The cinematography mirrors Mauricio's fragmented trust, the interplay of illumination and shadow underscoring the moral ambiguities he navigates. The scene is tense, not because of high-stakes action, but through the subtle escalation of emotional stakes, the quiet intensity amplified by sound, the rustle of paper, the faint hum of office equipment, the distant murmur of city life, creating a texture of realism that makes the psychological stakes feel tangible. Comparative analysis situates Aida within a broader cinematic tradition, while highlighting its distinctiveness. The film resonates with the quiet intensity of European psychological dramas, yet it retains a unique specificity through its attention to setting, occupational detail, and character microcosms. Whereas many films of similar thematic scope rely on overt plot twists or high drama to convey moral tension, Aida relies on meticulous observation and the poetry of mundane life. Mauricio's universe is not cinematic spectacle, but lived experience, the ebb and flow of routine, the small ethical decisions, the subtle oscillations of human interaction, all rendered with careful consideration. It is a world in which the ordinary becomes profound, and in which each seemingly trivial act carries weight, reflecting the filmmaker's commitment to portraying life with honesty and nuance. The film's treatment of emotion is equally meticulous. In a scene where Mauricio finds Aida in distress, we see the protagonist negotiating a delicate balance between empathy and restraint. His response is neither theatrical nor melodramatic. Instead, it is measured, attentive, and laden with unspoken understanding. This restraint is emblematic of Mauricio's character throughout the film. He is a man of reflection, acting with deliberation rather than impulse, and the narrative rewards viewers who attune themselves to these subtleties. Moments like this resonate emotionally because they capture a universal truth about human interaction. Understanding often precedes action, and the most profound gestures are frequently the least visible. Another aspect worth noting is the film's pacing, which contributes significantly to its thematic impact. Scenes are allowed to breathe, with long takes, minimal cuts, and attention to ambient sound and spatial relationships. In one particularly memorable sequence, Mauricio walks through a nearly empty swimming facility at dawn, the silence broken only by his footsteps and the distant echo of dripping water. This moment, seemingly simple, carries the weight of solitude, introspection, and anticipation. The audience is invited to inhabit his perspective, to feel the measured rhythm of his world, and to understand the interplay between internal reflection and external environment. The cinematography, sound design, and pacing coalesce to create a meditative, cinematic experience, emphasizing the tension between the protagonist's internal order and the external forces that continuously challenge it. Reflecting on personal impressions, one cannot help but be drawn to the film's exploration of subtle moral landscapes. Mauricio's choices are never framed as clearly right or wrong. They exist in a spectrum that demands contemplation. I recall being struck by a scene where he is faced with a minor ethical dilemma, whether to overlook a colleague's small but consequential mistake or to enforce strict protocol. The tension of the scene lies not in dramatic confrontation, but in the mental and emotional negotiation that unfolds internally. It reminded me of everyday moments in life where decisions feel disproportionately significant, illustrating the film's genius in transforming the mundane into deeply consequential cinematic material. The conclusion of the film does not provide a tidy resolution, which reinforces its thematic core. Mauricio is left contemplating the consequences of his actions, the weight of responsibility, and the persistent ambiguity of human morality. The final image of him, standing at the edge of a sunlit pool, the water calm, yet reflecting a world of unseen currents, encapsulates the film's meditation on control, chaos, and the enduring human endeavor to navigate both. It is a visual and emotional echo that resonates, leaving viewers with a profound sense of reflection and introspection. In sum, Aida, as explored through Mauricio Piscinas, offers a masterclass in character study, narrative subtlety, and thematic depth. The film's success lies in its ability to render the ordinary extraordinary, to convey the weight of minor decisions, and to immerse viewers in a world where control and chaos coexist, where morality is nuanced, and where the human experience is depicted with precision, care, and poetic resonance. Mauricio emerges as a compelling figure, not because of dramatic exploits, but because of his thoughtfulness, his navigation of ethical complexities, and his enduring humanity, making Aida a work of cinematic and philosophical sophistication that lingers long after viewing.